When I'm in the clothes that make me feel good, it's like I am feeling inspired to continue that feeling forward. And in order to do that, I need to, drink all my water, like eat my vegetables and things, because I want to continue to be able to bring that body confidence into like the outfits and like how I'm presenting myself. I want a little bit of that like Earth Mama vibe, but I also want to be like clean lines and like simple and look professional, like all of these things together. And I didn't know how to achieve that.
What up, lady? Welcome back to the Styled for Life podcast. It's your girl, Katie here, back with another episode. Every time I say that, I feel like a YouTuber, but you get it. Back with another episode, another juicy one that I'm really excited about, as always. So instead of giving you like my intention for the show today, I just want to read you the snippet of this quote from one of my favorite Instagram influencers, spiritual influencers that I follow at Gala Darling. If you don't follow her, you need to. She has bright pink hair and that big energy of like definite big bitch energy. Like I can do anything. I just love her to death. She always knows exactly what to say. So she posted this little post and this is just a snippet out of it. It's like 5 different swipes, but you get it, right? So this is the intention and what I hope that you always get from this podcast or from anything that I'm doing, and especially from today's show. So I quote, "The reality is that the vast majority of people are living boring, dissatisfying, shit-ass lives. And so their advice and perspective is a projection of their lived experience. If you want a life like theirs, by all means, listen to them. If you want to break the mold, you simply cannot be around them." Whew. So I read that today and it's super juicy and it totally moved me. And it's just right on point for today's episode, because today's episode is someone that's in my inner circle. It's also someone that's a client of mine, a repeat client of mine, but it is someone who's definitely not living a boring ass shit acid life that has amazing advice and perspective. So I thought that this was just a really good way to kick off the show. Because today's show is, like I said, I'm bringing on a guest that's in my inner circle, but it's really in the vein of a client testimonial. I invited her on to share her perspective and reality around working with me and getting styled and how that's shown up in her business and in her personal life and raising kids and all the things. And why I really love this conversation, not just because we're friends and we have a great relationship, but because the way that our businesses weave and flow together. So Amber Frauenholtz on the show today, woot woot. She's a nutritional therapist practitioner. She's my nutritional therapist practitioner. So of course I'm partial and I'm in love with her, but I love her unique perspective on health and wellness. And I never walk away feeling guilty after working with her. I only walk away feeling inspired and like it's easy. And if you know me, I say it on the show constantly, how some people might feel intimidated by styling or think it's overwhelming to get dressed every day. That's how I feel about food. Meaning I love to spend money on food. Food is something I've always loved to spend money on, because I don't like to make it myself. I'm never comfortable making it myself. I think it's overwhelming. I'm like, do I have enough proteins? Is my blood sugar stable? Like fucking, it's so much. I can't. I don't like grocery shopping. I don't like meal planning. I don't like any of it. I am getting better. But that's why I'm excited to bring on Amber, because this conversation weaves so nicely back and forth. We actually are reference or resources for each other all the time in our businesses. She supports me. You can't talk about styling without talking about your body, without talking about your health goals, right? So we constantly share tips back and forth to support our clients. So the synergy between our 2 businesses is great. The energy between us is amazing. And we weave that back and forth in today's conversation. But I really wanted to get her on today to share her styling journey. Like I said, repeat client. We've done multiple different sessions and different facets. So she talks about all of those, from like being styled in general and really tapping into her signature style to this recent fall styling session that we did where we built her fall capsule packed for her trip to Scotland, overseas, abroad, and just how all of that helps manifest the dream and bring it into reality. We talk about surprising things that she was like, I didn't see that coming, and I didn't know that styling could even relate to this. But I say it all the time. Styling is 80% mindset and 20% dope clothes. It's so much more work around who we are, our identity, uncovering our stories, figuring out what our blocks are, rewiring, a constant reminder that it's a tool that we get to use every day, and really the essence of getting dressed for yourself and no one else. It's a gift. It's something that you have access, that you have complete control over every day. So I think it is a really fun episode. I think you'll enjoy it. There's one unexpected thing that I just want to call out ahead of the show that's really been coming up for me recently, a theme that I think is funny, because when I first was thinking of starting a podcast, I was like, I'm going to start a podcast about mom guilt, because at the time it was my biggest pain point. Back when I was living my shit ass, boring, dissatisfying life, giving away mediocre advice. Hopefully I'm not doing that anymore, because I'm sorry, my closet is anything but boring and mediocre. So, and I have to pinch myself every day. And I hope, and that's really my goal, is that is coming through on this podcast every day. But it didn't happen overnight, right? When I was talking about starting this podcast about mom guilt, it was in 2018. And it was only because I baby stepped it every day, every way. And maybe some of those baby steps were backwards sometimes, but failing forward is something that I believe in and something that I live in. But I say that to say that mom guilt was riddling me, like controlling my life. And it was the big turning point into all of this. And this week I've had 3 clients bring up to me how being intentionally styled and intentionally shopping their clothes has helped them feel less guilty pursuing their dreams. So in particular, my business owners who have big events or some traveling coming up that haven't been able to travel maybe for the last couple of years, the conversations have been around, when we travel, it can be really hard sometimes to like communicate to your children, like, I'm leaving, this is for the greater good of myself, my business, our family, all of those goals that we have. I had 3 clients tell me that by feeling really confident in what I was wearing, having my packing like done and easy, and one less thing to stress out about before I was leaving my kid, I could spend time with them and explain to them and feel really confident in my decisions and why I was doing these things and why I am pursuing my goals in my business or related to your life. In this case, the story that Amber shares on the podcast today, she's actually talking about a personal trip that her and her husband took overseas, right? Just a trip that they took abroad without the kids. Ooh, I have the chills. I'd love to take a trip abroad without the kids. But we just talk about how her feeling really good, getting intentional, helped her feel like confident and okay. Like, yeah, I'm allowed to do this. I'm allowed to live my life and be a mother. So I thought it was really interesting that her and I recorded this podcast, and then lots of other people have been attending events and being styled and have been having this conversation with me around how much it's really helped them feel confident on the inside and the outside, of course. So it's perfect timing to share this episode with you if that is something that you have coming up. I am going to bring Amber back on the podcast in January, because I think there's something magical about having the conversations around our body and sharing her unique perspective on that. So as we head into holiday season here and that magical time, that week, but between Christmas and New Year's, I think that's a magical week, because it's like all the rules fall away, and it's, you don't know what day of the week it is. Time doesn't exist. Like, for me, it's very dreamy. I feel like I can do anything. And I think it sets up a lot of us for that big January energy that we come into. And Amber's been someone that's actually helped me through that, because I really struggle with New Year's resolutions because they feel so hard to maintain and so cheapened, because it feels like it's just like this cyclical thing that we go through and that we're setting ourselves up for failure. So we talk a little bit about all of these things on today's episode, and I think it's just a great setup for what's coming in our life and the seasons and where we're at. So I really hope you enjoy today's episode, listening to Amber's story, uncover something new around getting styled, how it can support you, be inspired around whatever that life goal and dream is. So make sure you stay tuned, listen in. If it resonates with you, share it with a friend. It's the easiest way that you can support the podcast, and I would be forever grateful. You can even share it on Insta and tag me, whatever feels good for you. And if you're interested in getting styled and you feel totally moved after today's episode, send me a DM on Instagram at Katie Allen Stylist, or hop into my email and let's just chat. We can just start a little chat to see if it's a good fit. I'm booking now for January 2023. I think that's why I'm like, keep thinking about the new year, because everything's gone for 2022. Like, new clients, 2023 only. I can't believe it. And it's the first time that I really am like, oh my God, like I'm really doing this. So I'm super excited. I really hope that translates in today's podcast. And again, if you have questions about this episode, about getting styled, around what next steps could look like for you, hit me up on Insta at Katie Allen Stylist. All the info will be in the show notes as well. Or send me an email, katie@katiejuststyled.com. And whatever you do, make sure you also go follow Amber. She has the best free content on social media, in my opinion. And again, I love her perspective. So go follow her too at Amber Down Wellness. Again, all of this fancy, juicy stuff you need will be in the show notes, just waiting for you. And yeah, hopefully today's not a mediocre episode for you, because my goal and my vision, if I am going to be on this planet, is to live an amazing life. And always my intention for the podcast. So I will see you on the flip side. And this is Your Life Styled. Oh my God, today's episode, one of my BFFs, my biz bestie. You know, it's funny, we call each other work wives, and I was thinking about this the other day, is we definitely have to switch to biz besties, because work wife is an old term from an old lifestyle that we used to have.
Oh, so true.
So true. So today on the podcast, my girl Amber, she's a nutritional therapist, practitioner. I just told her I'm going to call her my nutritionist, though, because it's like we like to get down. But I'm so excited to bring Amber on the podcast. One, because she's amazing. Two, because we have been each other's clients over the years and supported each other. And our businesses are like these fun parallel universes that work side by side, where Amber really focuses on the wellness, hormone wellness, eating food, all the things I'm not amazing at. And then I'm helping women feel amazing on the outside. But I wanted to bring you on today to talk about style. So thank you so much for joining us.
I'm so excited to be here. This is going to be a really fun topic.
And we're feeling a little, what's the word? Risque? It's not risque. We're feeling a little
spicy.
Spicy. a little quirky, maybe.
A little spicy.
A fun interview, but I'm sure I messed up your intro. So why don't you go ahead and intro yourself appropriately?
You did a great job. But yes, so I'm a nutritional therapy practitioner. I primarily focus on working with women who are either pre-pregnancy, pregnancy, or kind of going through that perimenopause timeframe. And I love helping them balance their hormones, get their gut health right, just get control of their stress levels. Essentially, they come to me not feeling their best, and we do a bunch of assessments up front. We do lab work. We do all those kinds of fun, just explorations into their life. And then we build a plan together to help bring those things back into balance so that they feel their best. And so a lot of interesting things come up in that journey, like definitely body confidence, weight, limiting beliefs, and so on. And so that in that way, I feel like our businesses, like you said, really sort of mirror each other. One is like let's focus on the internal supports that we can feed our bodies to feel our best. And then like you are a good compliment because it's like, well, let's focus on the external and figure out how we can bring the confidence by looking our best and, feeling like a badass in our clothes. So I just love the like marriage of the two.
It feels a little like chicken or egg for me conversation, because one of the things I get from a lot of women is, oh God, I'd love to work with you, but I've gained so much weight. And should I invest in my clothes now or later? And you're like, oh, what do I do first? You should absolutely work on those health goals if those are your goals. But I feel like sometimes style can actually help you get there quicker, because we can do those real quick external tips and tricks to make you feel great now while Amber's working on your supplement protocol behind the scenes.
Yes, 100%. And it's like a holistic thing. You have a goal in mind. Ideally, the goal is like feeling good in your body. And instead of the goal being a specific, like, I want to lose 20 pounds or whatever it is, it's more like, I want to just feel good. I want to be able to chase my kids. I want to have clear skin. I want to show up confidently. And then you attack it from all areas. You manage your emotional stress, you work on your food, and you buy clothes that make you feel like a freaking badass. And so that's why I love it. I love it as a good like combo.
And it's so funny to me because I think about all the time, and I'll notice when I have on outfits that I love, or so like for me, and I talk about this on my podcast all the time, like food is always my metaphor for style, because food is where I feel like the least confident in doing stuff. So if I like during the work week and I have on a good outfit, because I'm always doing something scary and stretchy in my business, when I go to make lunch on those days, I'm like, it's so much easier to pick the choice or make the choice that I want to make, whatever that is. For everybody's different, to make the choice on my health goals, because I feel really good, because I have my favorite lipstick on, I have my favorite outfit on. So I love that, because then when I don't feel good or I haven't taken a shower, I'm like ready to flip the fucking table over, and I'm like, give me all the sugar.
Yes. Oh my gosh. No, that is such an amazing point, because I feel that so deeply too. When I'm in the clothes that make me feel good, it's like I am feeling inspired to continue that feeling forward. And in order to do that, I need to, drink all my water, like eat my vegetables and things, because I want to continue to be able to bring that body confidence into like the outfits and like how I'm presenting myself. And so it does kind of inspire you to make those, quote unquote, like healthier choices. It's kind of similar to like when you exercise. I feel like when you're exercising, you are more inspired. You're putting yourself first. You are willing to eat the salad as a side dish instead of French fries, Yes. But when you have your sweatpants on, you didn't work out, you're like, I'm going to get the French fries. Not that French fries are a bad thing. I don't want anyone to think that, but just like making those choices for yourself that is going to make you feel better in the long run.
Yes, I was thinking about this the other day. I did a workout with one of my new friends from Cleveland, and that's what she was saying. She's like, there's no such thing as a bad food. She said, but you've just spent 45 minutes kicking ass. And it's like this energetic momentum, I think, is like, for me with clothes, it's always the adornment. Like, I gave myself the time and space as a busy mom, busy entrepreneur, to put this outfit together in a way that makes me feel good with intention. I want to continue throughout my day that energetic momentum. So there are things I know that I have identified by you helping me that don't make me feel good, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Let's get those out. So let's keep talking about clothes.
Yes.
I would love for you to share your styling experience. Essentially just let everyone know how you've really incorporated it into your business. You have invested in it, the time, energy, and yourself, and to working with me and really prioritizing that as you show up in your life, your business, your personal life, most recently your trip to Scotland and things like that. So I wanted you to help me kind of share that story for the women who are like, yes, this is great, but I don't know. Like, do people actually do this? Is it worth it? Like, help me get people like over that hump on whatever level that is of what that can be like for them and like really what's possible for them. So when you first started working with me, what were you hoping to get out of the experience?
Yes. Okay. This is actually one of my favorite topics to talk about, because even my friends or, someone I haven't seen in a while, I will bump into them and we're having just like a, trying to not get to know you, but like catch up talk. And I mention like, oh, on my upcoming trip to Scotland, I hired a stylist to help me pack. And they're like, what? You did that? Why? How does it work? I need to know more. Like, they're so fascinated. And I do feel like it's kind of hard to figure out like what that might entail just by going online or like trying to, understand. And you have this idea in your mind, like, oh, well, personal styling, that's for people who are in Hollywood or like make a ton of money, and want to, spend that much on their clothes or whatever. And I think that, no, that's not the case. Like, anyone who wants to feel good in their clothes or have a little bit more knowledge around style or trends or whatever it may be can hire someone to help them do that. And so, long story short, tell me if I'm talking too much, Katie, but
I'm here for it.
yeah, let's see. I started working with you when my business was young, right? So we have a very similar like trajectory with our age of our businesses and growth and all of that. And I found you luckily towards the very beginning of that journey. And it was kind of in coming through the pandemic, 2020 happened. We were all at home hibernating. Pandemic was starting to, it's not wrapped up. I mean, I guess it's still going, whatever. Starting to calm down, and people were like coming out of their hiding places, 2021. And that's kind of where I was. I'm like, I've been wearing leggings and Disney World t-shirts every day for the last 365 days. I don't know what to wear when I go out in public. And all of my quote unquote nice clothes are from when I worked in corporate. And they are not me anymore. I mean, I left corporate because I had a metamorphosis, an identity shift. Like, those clothes are just not me. So that's where you came in. And we started working together because I chose to work with you because I just would walk in my closet and feel completely clueless. I didn't really know how to dress myself. It felt intimidating. And I have lost the love of shopping. When I was younger, I used to love going to the malls. I used to love trying clothes on. I don't, for some reason, I don't really love that anymore. I just want somebody to like help tell me how to dress and like what I should wear. So all of those things are at play. So I walk in my closet. I didn't like anything, all from corporate. I had only been wearing leggings and baggy t-shirts for the last year. And I wanted someone to help me tell me, what I should be wearing. And the last piece of it was I was branding. I was building a business, and I'm the face of my business. And I want my personality to shine through. I want my whimsy. That's one of the words that we've used when you're working with me with my styles. Like, I want it to be whimsical. I want a little bit of that like Earth Mama vibe, but I also want to be like clean lines and like simple and look professional, like all of these things together. And I didn't know how to achieve that. So that's really why I said yes to working with you. Does that answer the question of like where I was at the time?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe too much information.
No, that was amazing. You nailed it. I love it. Spicy. No, it's so good. Thank you so much. You said so many good things in there. I love the one thing that you said that I really want to touch on is being a different person. So I think a lot of times when I hear, and we all do this and we all say this, when you walk into your closet and you're like, I don't have anything to wear, or I don't know what to wear. Or I was just joking with someone else about this. Like, was I naked all last, like we're going into fall, winter. Like, was I just naked all last fall, winter? Because there's no way I was wearing these clothes. And I think what you hit on is like, and it's easy when it's big, when we have big metamorphoses in our lives, like leaving corporate, starting a business, whatever, having a new baby, getting divorced, whatever it is. But we're constantly having little baby metamorphoses daily. And then we walk into our closets and we ignore them, because I think part of the losing the love of shopping is you just get bigger. Well, you might be getting bigger. I have.
Me too.
Yeah. You're getting older. You're more responsibilities is what I was trying to say, is you're gaining different responsibilities and priorities, right? Like now you're a kid or you have kids. God, I can't say shit. You have these other priorities, and shopping now feels like another thing to do. And unless you have a strategy, like your grocery list. No one's going grocery shopping without their meal plan or their grocery list unless you have that around your clothes. It's fucking overwhelming and intimidating. I don't just shop to shop. I always shop with an intentional shopping list. And if we've lost that piece of us, like that metamorphosis part of us, I think that's a really so true. And I think we tend to forget that, like, we're constantly evolving and our closets have to evolve with us. I think that was one of my biggest ahas working with you, because that's how obviously we became business besties of a very similar track and story. And it kind of just brought us together. And I specifically remember having to give up my teal skater style dress that fit me perfectly, but it reminded me of a different version of myself that I am no more.
Yeah.
Release it, let it go. That's amazing. I want to take it one step further.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything that surprised you around styling that maybe wasn't the clothes? Like, you start doing this work, you start seeing yourself in a separate life, and you're like, oh shit, I didn't even realize how it impacted this, how I thought about this, or made this easier. And I have no idea what your answer is going to be, so I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest surprises is that I really, and this is probably like an unattractive way to say this, but I like get off on like feeling like I look stylish when I'm out in public. It gives me this, I don't know, like confidence that was not there in the years prior, even when I was working in corporate and like trying to make an effort into how I looked. It wasn't the same, like, because this was like an embodiment of my personality, but also trendy, like stylish, all of those things. I know that you've and I have talked about those words and what they imply, but I just feel like a badass, a baller. I don't know. And I think that that is a huge shock, and something that I wasn't necessarily expecting, to feel. And then, dressing for, I mean, I guess this kind of goes along the same lines, but like the difference in confidence levels, when you are wearing and looking the way that you want to be perceived in the world, like the confidence level just kind of skyrockets. So even when you're, online doing like a Zoom call or like a Zoom webinar, like I want to be wearing one of my fun outfits and I want to have my makeup on. I want to have my lipstick on. I want to feel put together because it makes my mind feel put together. Mm-hmm. I don't know. You just access this, you enter this other plane of existence when you like feel really good about yourself. And that was probably the biggest surprise, because signing up, you're like, well, I'm just going to get some new outfits out of this and, reutilize some of the clothes that have dust basically like on my closet because I never wore them, figure out how to wear things. But then the shock is like, wow, I really enjoy this. And I actually really like learning about what's in fashion, this season and how I can apply that to myself. It's in Scotland. So we went on a trip to Scotland. Katie packed for me, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But we went with my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law. And this is a shock. Like we talked, I've like laid a bunch of knowledge bombs down on them about style. I'm like, oh my God, you see the color blocking? Like pink is really in. Look at all of this like pink around us. Katie, my personal stylist, told me like this, and this. And I just felt like I had all of this trivia in my head around style and I was noticing it. And I think that they were impressed. I mean, I have to like say, I think they were, yeah. And so that was also kind of a shock.
I think what I think is really fun about that is because you notice that like in people and places and you realize it's so much bigger because it's, like you mentioned the word trendy and we're like, oh, we talked about this. Like fashion can be the medicine that the world needs. You were in a completely different country, right? And we're as humans, right? We're all going through these collective moments together and it's full of self-expression. So like when you were like, oh, I'm this person, and it's like I enter a different plane because you're fully expressed to like, you're in touch with who you are and you like that. And that means a lot to you. So when you show up, it translates into that. Freaking love it too. I was thinking about this Halloween just passed, so that was easy, right? But it's almost like you're getting into character and it's like it gives you permission to be I don't want to say another version of yourself, but it gives you permission to access pieces of yourself that you might, dim or that you have dimmed for years because of those big life transitions or not taking the time to do the things we do. And it's always easy on Halloween because if you get to dress up and you're like, oh, look at me. I'm like, I can act a certain way because I'm dressed up as whoever your Halloween costume was. Same thing with your clothes. You can do it daily by accessing it.
Yeah. Oh my God. 100%. Go ahead. What question were you going to ask?
You can just tell by my body language. Well, I was going to segue you into Scotland because you were there and I was like, yes. So I really wanted to have that opportunity to bring you on the podcast to talk about packing for vacations and styling for vacations and how that can provide value on the back end. And I feel like there was definitely some fun things there that were like unexpected that you're like, holy shit. Like, when we think that we're signing up for something or we see a need for something, it's funny how like it impacts so many different spaces in our lives. And that is always what's to me. So let's talk about Scotland, Amber.
Okay. One thing, just to, I guess, segue into Scotland, just like a little story about coaching with you. After you work with Katie, she becomes a little voice in your head. And I mean this in the best way possible. Because for Scotland, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this is because when you travel, it's kind of like being on an extended Halloween, right? You can really like embody the energy or the person that you have been wanting to try out without fear of anyone in your real life, like actually, seeing you or whatever. And so I kind of really like clung on to that opportunity. Like I want to reimagine myself as a fashionable person who wears like, cute, stylish clothes and feels good with my personality infused, blah, 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 all those things. But I'm looking at my closet and I live in a hot climate. All of my cold clothes, it was cold in Scotland, like they didn't excite me and they were old. And they just looked like haggard, like they'd been through the wash too many times and they're like beating and things. I'm like, that's not the energy that I want to walk around Scotland in a body. So I knew immediately I wanted new clothes, but I also didn't want to pick them out myself. So that's where you came in. But the reason I was going to say you're the little voice inside my head is because I had a specific night where we were going to go to a fun bar that was like a speakeasy type theme. And I wanted a fun outfit that was kind of like vintage looking. And the day of, I started getting self-conscious because I'm like, I know my sister-in-law and brother-in-law did not pack fancy clothes for this night. And my husband and I are going to be like all dressed up. We're going to this place. I'm starting to like freak out about this outfit. But I swear your voice popped in and you were like, no, you're wearing this outfit because it makes you feel good. Who gives a shit like what other people think of you? You're wearing it because you want to wear it. And so I wore it and it was really fun. And of course I stepped out of the hotel room and the people we were traveling with were like, oh my God, you look so cute. Like, this is awesome. So it was definitely worth it. But that voice, that's kind of like one of the reasons why people should sign up with you, just to get the voice in their head, because it really pushes you out of your like comfort zone and you grow and all of that. So anyways, Scotland, so we put together like a wish list of the types of looks that I wanted. And then I wanted to pack efficiently because this is a 7-day trip. I am terrible at efficiently packing. I always like bring clothes that I never wear. And I really wanted to limit the amount of shoes that I was going to bring. I needed things to be waterproof mostly because it's rainy there. I needed a new coat. So these were like big like tasks to go out and find, and you nailed it, right? So you like found all of the sweaters, we went into my closet, we pulled the pieces of the clothes I already owned that I wanted to wear. Then you went out and found new items like to match those things. Then you made multiple outfits like out of these same, however many pieces. And they all fit into like a medium-sized suitcase, all my shoes and my cosmetics and like my hair stuff. So it was the most efficient and most fun I've had packing ever. Like it was just really awesome. So what follow-up questions do you have about that?
I don't think there's any questions other than like, who wouldn't pay for packing to be fun and efficient? I mean, God,
I know.
It's the bane of my existence.
Yeah.
And it's so much easier to do it for other people though.
Oh my God, I'm sure. I'm sure it's like way easier. It was just so much fun because once I got there too, I used the app. You know, we have like the closet app that you use for your business. Like, okay, which one am I going to wear? And, you know, what items did I even pack? And I wore, first time ever that I wore every single piece of clothing that I took on a trip at least one time. That is a huge win.
That's a huge win. I don't even think you told me that.
Yeah.
Dang. That's amazing. Funny. That's awesome. It's funny that you said the little voice in your head because everyone's listening to the podcast right now probably thinking Katie's voice stays in my head. So sorry about that, guys. It's funny because I didn't know that either, that you had self-doubts about wearing the outfit. The outfit was amazing. So I'm glad that you wore it because it was so you. And I know that you guys just looked fun and had so much fun. But I think that was it. The wins, like, holy crap. I didn't even know that you wore every single piece of thing that you packed. That's amazing. Mm-hmm. I'm so glad that you found it efficient. But I'm glad you brought up the app and the lookbooks and like you have it on your phone and you could bring it with you. And it's like, I always tell people like, you remember like in Clueless when she had like her digital, well, I don't think it was digital, but like, you know, her closet and it would go through and it had like all the outfit laid out. I was like, it's like the modern day, you have Cher's closet. You download the app, you literally can just flip through it. You don't even have to think anymore. So if you ever had that feeling of like, I don't have anything to wear, just literally flip into your app and you're like, okay, here's this outfit, this outfit. And it's all with things you already have. You already own, you know? Amazing.
Yeah. It was,
go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I was just going to say it was awesome. And then the added bonus is like, I have a capsule wardrobe now for fall. Because that's the type of weather that was in Scotland and London when we were there. And I mean, that's all I really need for Austin, Texas, like weather. And I'm so excited for it to get colder so that I can wear my clothes that we picked out. So they're just waiting for me in my closet for the weather to drop, for the temp to drop.
That's so amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your story and letting me just like go deep on it and all the little pieces of it. I truly appreciate it. It means a lot to me. It's hard for me to get on here and be like, here, let me tell you why I'm amazing. So much easier to bring clients on here and share. And I feel like every time I do this, something comes out that like we haven't even talked about. So it's just as fun and informational for me as hopefully it is for everybody else. So thank you for coming on the podcast and sharing your knowledge. Pimp yourself out so everyone can find you. And I think I'm going to bring you back in the new year as we head in to that new year, new energy, and talk about how we're going to work it from the inside as well. So are you down with that, Amber?
Yeah, I think that's going to be awesome. As for where people can find me, Instagram is the best place to connect with me. My handle is Amber Dawn, DAWN _wellness. Or you can go to amberdawnwellness.com and find me there. But lots of good information out there for lots of free resources for people to go and explore.
Dude, Amber's free resource game is like no other, and her Instagram is like no other. You talk about consistent, amazing advice for nutritional wellness, like top freaking notch. So thank you. It is. I tell you all the time, I'm like, you inspire me to stay honest on this Instagram thing. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate you the most.
Yes, of course. Anytime.